Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is a Valiant. It's a tier 5 British premium medium tank. It's located on the south spawn of Fisherman's Bay and it's under the command of ProvoBob. Now, as he's on the Australian-New Zealand server, I'm afraid there are bots in this game and you can identify them as the ones with a colon before the name and after it. Everyone else is a real player, but there's only a limited number of them, and to reduce numbers of players in the game as it is, it appears to me that there's only 13 on each side, and a large number of them are bots. Now, there's no Arty in this game, so this is going to be an interesting game. It's quite an open, big map, but with so many bots, you might see some very unusual results. Could even see some bots killing bots. Well, the first enemies have come in contact with each other, and it's a live player versus a bot. The BT7 off in the distance is a bot. The Covenanter is a real player. It looks like the Covenanter is also getting hit by somebody else. I don't know who's hitting him at the moment, but ProvoBob, being in the worst British tank ever built, the Valiant, according to David Fletcher it is. It does have a rather good gun though, a 75mm, with quite a fast reload. Normal book reload is 4.03 seconds, he's got 3.47, but then he does have 3 marks on the barrel. So not really surprising that he's that good. At the moment, I think that M5A1 Stuart is actually behind a building, so no point in shooting him just yet, and you might as well go into town. Now, the Valiant was originally an idea to make an assault tank, a walking tank, an infantry tank, but an assault tank nonetheless. In fact, if you go to the Armoured Archives, there's a lot of information on British tanks, and it's well worth paying a visit because you can actually see the history of the Valiant and some of the other tanks, British tanks that you play. I'll leave a link to Armoured Archives in the description beneath the video. The gentleman who actually does the videos, Ed Francis, is incredibly knowledgeable about tanks, and he's covered a wide variety of topics. And we're waiting for the moment when he can actually start researching some of the other tanks, not just the British ones, but some of the other nations. Okay, Type 95, which is a bot. It's got a colon in front of the name, and that B1 is also a bot. And we've lost the DW2, but the DW2 was a bot, and he was taken out by somebody who was not in a bot. Now, the Valiant does have a lot of armour at the front of the vehicle, 114mm on the hull, 75 at the front on the turret. And basically it's got the same armour on the turret as well. Now, he could have had a shot there on the B1 as he was side on, but they pulled back behind the corner now. They will poke forward though, because these are bots and they don't always act as they should. Some people think that fighting bots is very, very easy and therefore you get an easy game out of it. It's not true, you know, because the bots can sometimes act very unpredictably and they can catch you out. And of course the bots tend to automatically load the APCR when they come up against an opponent that they can't penetrate. They'll just go straight to the number 2 ammunition. And of course, you see, they don't worry about blowing away a huge amount of credits because after all, it's only wargaming. That's a real player. Got 1 round into the 14 TP. I turned around the corner. I'm afraid ProvoBob likes his premium ammo far too much for my liking. You should be using standard ammo. You don't need anything more than that with a 14 TP. Yeah, he's got the side of a Type 95 here, and easy to get through that with standard ammo. You're blowing credits away there, ProvoBob. Finally gets around into the back of a Type 95. The KV1's a real player, by the way, so watch out for him. Oh, he gets one into him, but he takes him around in the tracks. And the Type 95 just got shredded by someone. Yes, you see that KV1 is being very careful. The 14 TP is a real player as well, remember? He gets one into the KV1, who's now one shot. And he's out the game. Yeah, he was a little too careless there. Should have angled himself so he could get shots on ProvoBob. And ProvoBob was angling, and that's why his tracks did take the rounds rather than his hull. Although he has lost some hit points. Now the 14 TP is just around the corner, and he's now out the game. That was a big mistake. The M4A1 there, 8-1 run, the M8A1 is a bot. Standard ammo, Bob. Standard ammo. That thing's got no armour. You don't need to fire premium ammo at that thing. But he's got another kill. That's 3. Now there's still a couple of tanks ahead of him. A Type 95 and the M8A1's just been killed. There's only 4 enemy tanks left in the game. Whoop. 3 enemy tanks left in the game now. But he was spotted just as he went through that gap. Now we know where 2 of them are. They're over the other side of the battlefield. He ought to about face and head back to his own cap area, or at least head over to the west side of the map, because this tank does not move very quickly. 19 kilometers an hour is the maximum speed forwards. Well, unless of course you're going downhill, in which case it does pick up a few extra kilometers an hour. But there's very little point going to the enemy cap now. Much better off if you actually turn directly to the west and head up the hill. Now, of the enemy tanks left, in fact there are, yes, there's 3 enemy tanks remaining. 2 M10 RBFMs and 1 P2640. Well, one of them's in the south, the other one is up here. And you can see he just took a lot of damage there from a Leopard with his 3cm gun. I know it's the 3cm because you suddenly saw his health go down bit by bit by bit where he fired the cannon, and it basically sprayed him with 3cm shells. Of course, you don't get very accurate with that. You have to get close in order to get good penetration and good, well, not good penetration, but good accuracy, because the only other way of making that gun accurate is to fire in short bursts. Now he can't see the M10 at the moment, but he's aiming down along using the minimap to work out exactly where the guy is. I think he'd be much better off if he turned towards his own cap. In fact, people are now indicating, in fact it's ProvoBob's indicating it. There's the M10, and he gets the kill. Okay, so he's finished that bit, and there's only 2 enemies remaining. We lose the BDR. Now that tends to make me indicate that the enemy has come back. The P2640 and probably that M10 are not in the other end of the map, but they are over the west side, and it certainly would be better for him if he was to make his way over there, because at the moment he's not going to be able to catch sight of them. Valentine 2 and the B1 are headed for the cap. Now let's have a look and see, are they bots or not? Well, I'm afraid both of them are bots, the B1 and the Valentine 2. So ProvoBob's the only real player on his team. In fact, both of the other ones, Aussie Drop Beer on the enemy team, the M10, and Yokohama, was that CDC Yoda? Maybe I said the wrong word. He has been spotted, and I'm pretty sure they are over on the west side of the map. Otherwise that P2640 probably wouldn't have seen him. I also have the feeling that he's not firing at ProvoBob at the moment, because either he can't get a good solution, or he hasn't got the he hasn't got ProvoBob in sight at the moment. That's probably why he wasn't shooting. But ProvoBob's now firing at him, and he's close enough, and that one went into the tracks. Try and track him. Try and aim for the tracks. He's going centre mass, but you're ricocheting off his armour. So you're hitting the plates at the wrong angle. You need to aim for the tracks and track the guy, and then you can actually then take body shots at his body. He's actually getting good shots with heat rounds, and that's why he's penning every time. Yep. If you don't get this one in, you're going to lose enough hit points to be out the game, because he was getting, well, more than 100 hit points per shot, with the exception of one round which did 98. So he's now down to just 127 hit points, and there's the M10R-M who can do 100 hit points with one shot. He's hit us on the tracks, he'll get one into the engine bay and set him alight. And he's burning, which means he gets the kill, which wins the game when there's only one other teammate, a bot, alive. So that's the end of the game. It's a victory. Here's the end of battle results for that game, and it's an ace tanker for ProvoBob in the Valiant. He's had an ace before, so it's not his first time. He also got a fire for effect for doing more damage than hit points to his own vehicle, a duelist for doing more damage and taking down 2 tanks who damaged him, a hand of God for surviving the battle having received damage from 4 different enemies, and a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. He managed to get 11 in total. He got some battle hero medals as well. He got the high caliber for dealing the most damage in the game, a top gun for getting at least 6 kills, and a steel wall as well for getting the most damage blocked by armor, receiving at least 11 shots and over 1,000 hit points of damage in total. His win rate for the game was 5,804. Let's have a look at the team score. Well, we can see he didn't get the highest damage according to this list, because one player did get more damage than he did. 1,940 experience points went to the Leopard, but the reason why ProvoBob got it must have been that the Leopard was careless and one of his shells probably hit one of his teammates and relegated the high caliber to ProvoBob instead. That's actually true. That does happen. If you accidentally shoot one of your own teammates, you disqualify yourself from getting a high caliber. So even if you get the high score, it'll go to the next player on the list who actually has a valid score without actually hitting their own teammates. So ProvoBob gets the high caliber without getting the highest damage. He did get the highest number of kills though. He got 6. The next high scorer was the Leopard with 4. 3 kills went to the M10R-M on the enemy team, who also got a tank sniper, and also the other M10R-M who got 3 as well. When it came to base XP, it's ProvoBob. He got 1,332. The Leopard managed to get 1,000, and the next high score after that's the BDR-G1B with 651. He fired 43 rounds in that game, 23 direct hits and 18 penetrations. Damage of 1,810 hit points, of which 31 were at more than 300 meters. He received 15 hits from the enemy, 7 of them penetrated and 7 non-penetrations. A lot of the shots that actually did pen him came from that P2640, and he was using heat rounds to do it to get through the armor. In fact, actually, if he'd missed one of his shots, ProvoBob probably would have ended up being one of his victims. 1 hit received by way of splash damage as well, 385 hit points of damage blocked by armor. He damaged 7 of the enemy, killed 6 and did 359 hit points of damage assistance. On a premium count, he earned 39,482 credits, got 30,000 credits for completing a mission, 69,482 credits altogether, and I keep saying during that video, you don't need to fire the premium rounds when, or the APCR rounds as it was in this case, when single ordinary AP will do perfectly fine. You've got penetration of 91mm with the standard AP, and a lot of the tanks he was firing at did not have that sort of armor on them, especially the M8A1 and that 14TP. You could have made done with just standard AP. In fact, you probably would have been able to pen the KV1 with standard AP for that matter. But yes, I would have switched myself to APCR at that point to try and take him down, just in case I got too many bounces. Well, he actually made a loss because he spent a huge amount on credits on the APCR, and he ended up with 13,000. Is that 542 or 642? 642 credits loss for the game. 25 bonds for the battle, so he obviously completed another mission, and 1,998 XP, 799 because this is a premium vehicle. 2,797 experience points altogether. Well, yes, it was a good game, and I think he actually did make a lot of mistakes. ProvoBob live spamming the gold at the enemy, and I think he's wasting a lot of credits because he could make a fortune in credits if he was just to use standard AP every time. Try and leave it on standard AP for the entire battle. Only use it when it's absolutely necessary, because you come up against somebody who's got significant armor, something like an Excelsior, and you're trying to hit them from the front. That sort of thing has 114mm as well, so you'd have to use the premium ammo if you're going to punch them through the front of the vehicle. But if you don't have to punch them through the front and they've got light armor like the 14TP and the M8A1, then standard AP would be perfect. Now, he was very lucky, the shots on that P2640, as I said, that guy was spamming gold as well, and he nearly took out ProvoBob. Ordinarily, he would have been firing something like standard AP or HE, and he still would have been getting damage on ProvoBob, but it got to the point where ProvoBob might have been taken out of the game, and that could have been rather awkward at that particular point in time. He had very low hit points when that M10 RBFM arrived at the scene, and if that guy had actually got one shot that actually penned ProvoBob, he would have been out the game on that as well, because he was lucky that the shot from the M10 actually went into his tracks rather than actually puncturing the vehicle. So yes, a very lucky game, you could say. I just hope that ProvoBob takes my message to heart and just starts using standard AP. I know other players in World of Tanks who I've criticised in the past for using plenty of APCR or the premium rounds, and they've switched to using standard ammo, and then they're getting fantastic results. There was one gentleman in particular, I think you can look back through it recently, an IS-7 player. Yes, I often criticise Fluffy Little Kitten for using APCR, but he doesn't use it anymore because he doesn't have to. He knows how to put the shells in the right place to make the damage, and then he generates vast amounts of profit at the end of these games. So well done to ProvoBob. I hope that you do take my message and switch to the right ammunition in future. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.